Thanks for stopping by Stitching with Cindy Bots. I'm Cindy, and today I wanted to show you a quick little fun project that is inspired by this glass jar that I found at a thrift store. I think it's really cool. During the summer, drink lots of tea, so I thought this would be a really cool tea jar. And I know a lot of people, like to drink out of their mason jars. And the mason jars do come in different sizes. And I thought it would be really cool just to make a sleeve to go over the jars. Now, I was able to buy 2 of these. And I think they're so cool. It's got a handle. It actually has a little spout here. So even if I wanted to use it like a little picture, that'd be so cool. So let me show you how I made these sleeves. And the one I'm working on now is actually for my small mason jar. Now, I measured my mason jar. Let me grab my measurements here. And the jar itself, height was 5 inches. And then to go around it, the circumference, fancy word, was 10.5. So I figured what I want to do is cut my material at 5.5 times 12.5, giving me a little bit of room for the seam allowances. Now, for me, I didn't want the sleeve to actually go underneath it. I have made other ones where the sleeve goes underneath, but because the mason jar and my other jar is glass, I want to make sure that the bottom stays flat and there's no problems that way. Okay, and then I'm using Insulbrite for the insulation to cool my jar of tea or whatever, pop, whatever you might be drinking. I can't even say the word momesa. No, I can't say it. So anyways, your little fruit and wine beverage, okay? Momesas? I don't know. It's just not happening today. But anyways, so to make this, what I did is I cut my material and then I sewed on one piece on the wrong side of the fabric. I sewed my Insulbrite in such a way that when I sew my other seams, the Insulbrite won't be in those seams. It's going to cut down on a lot of the bulk and make it so much easier to sew it. So I just centered that Insulbrite in the center of my fabric on the wrong side. After I sewed it down, then I put my pretty fabrics right sides together. Now, here's a little tricky part. Now, when we usually put the right sides together and we sew all the way around, we leave one opening to turn it right side out. But because I put elastic at the top just to help the sleeve stay snug and not fall off, I left an opening on both sides. One large enough to turn it through, and then the other large enough to slide the elastic through. So this part is open right here with the 2 fabrics sewn together. There's an opening here, and then the rest is sewn all the way around. Come down and leave another opening, this time wide enough for the fabric to be pulled through. A nice big opening, and then I stitch the other side. So that's just a little bit different. So here I have one that's a different color. And one of the things that's nice about making these sleeves, if you're having a family picnic or whatever, and you are using a mason jar, or you could even make these for other cups. It's nice that if you make them in different colors, different patterns, people will know which drink is there when they're walking around outside and stuff. And hopefully it'll help you cut down on those abandoned cups that are half full, especially with the kids and stuff. Those of us start talking and can't remember where our drink is. So then what you do is you just pull this through the opening and then fold that opening after you get it all pulled out, you can iron it nice and flat. Just fold and either finger press or iron that raw edge inside like you would any other time on both sides. Then go ahead and string your elastic through. Now I used a little narrow elastic, but not a string elastic, so I think this works out good. And after I fed it through, I went ahead and then made the casing. So just slide your elastic over and just kind of use your finger to keep it out of the way as you sew the casing seam. And that also tacks down your folded raw edge. Then just decide how tight you want it. Now, some people like to go ahead and sew one end, and that's how I would suggest. Just tack this down on the one end, put it around your jar, pull it to the tightness that you want, and you can pin it there if you want, and just practice sliding it up and down off your jar to make sure that it will go up and down, so you can take it on and off. Then come on back and just stitch it at the spot you want it after you pull on it and get it nice to the size you want. And the last step is just to go ahead and sew these two parts together. So let's see if we can do that. I'm just going to go ahead and tack this part down. Now, normally I do not sew on camera, but I'm thinking about making my videos a little bit longer and actually showing more of the actual project and process instead of just talking about it. So let's see how this goes. So I'm just going to slide that through. Now, I'm going to do my reverse. Well, actually, you know what? It only needs to be tacked. So let's take it out of there. I'm going to slide it out. We're just going to cut this part off like that. Now we're going to take our mason jar and we're going to put this around here like so. Now I'm going to be awful close, so it's probably going to get really blurry for a minute. And then what I'm going to do, actually before I do that, I think a better solution, sorry for the fingers, to really get the feel of how tight this is to go ahead and pin the two sides together. So let's see if I can do that one-handed. Sometimes recording gets a little bit tricky. And, you know, I've been doing this for a little while, but not regularly enough to really understand editing and such. So I'm doing this on my phone, and unfortunately sometimes it's not the best video quality, and I apologize for that. But I'm trying, I'm learning. Okay, so now I pinned it together so I can see. I'm gonna slide this right over the mason jar like so. And one-handed works. Now I can go ahead and pull on the side that's not sewn like so. Alright, so we're, again, I apologize, we're gonna get blurry. So here we go. Let's see, how can I do it? I am gonna have you look at the sewing machine for a second. Sorry. Now, if I knew how to edit, I could edit that right out. Wouldn't that be great? And then you would not be seeing that fuzziness. That would be cool. Okay, so I pulled it nice and tight, and I put a clip on it. And now I'm just going to slide it down. Oh, yeah, it fits. Okay, now hopefully my clip did not fall off during all of this. We'll set that over there, get that out of our way, and we're just going to go ahead and sew this down. Now, I want to make sure I don't lose my tension on my elastic there, because that wouldn't be good. Okay, so I believe it's still nice and tight, and I am just going to go ahead, put a few stitches on, back. Okay, now I can take this pin out. It just pulled out from under the pressure foot. You know, when you're sewing at home, a lot of different things can happen. The dog can come in, disrupt you and everything. All right, one more try. Let's try. Oh, come on. This one-handed business. I gotta learn how to do that better. Okay, so let's lift that presser foot again. Stick it under. Press it down, and I am just going to do it at 1/4 of an inch, and then that should seal up my hole from where I pulled it through also. Right, and little back stitch here. Okay, and sliding it through. Come on now. Now the machine says I don't want to. I don't want to. I got a little snag of a thread here. Okay. Alright, we're putting those together and just sliding it through. Now, there is some bulk here, but not that much. If we had gone ahead and had that Insulbright come all the way to the edge, there would be a lot of bulk there. So now all you gotta do is snip the elastic. Now, just be careful that you don't get your material. So if I had 2 hands available, I'm holding the phone, so you know the other hand is still busy. I could trim that closer and not have it, but again, it's on the inside. We're just gonna flip this around. Okay, let's just flip that around. There we go. And here's our little sleeve, our little cozy sleeve. And that Insulbright does help keep the beverage cooler. Now, if you wanted just a sleeve for identification purposes, or you're having a party and you want to have your favorite team logo on it, you could just do a sleeve with the material. You could also use felt if you don't want to use the Insulbright. Now, I make a lot of pot holders, so I have scraps of Insulbright, and this is a great way to use up those scraps. So we'll just pull that down a little bit, and there you go. Hand me a beverage and a straw, and I gotta trim those. And there is our cute little mason jar sleeve. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me give you a tip. I have found a great turner. Now, this is one of those little tools, little gadgets for eating your grapefruit, for digging out the grapefruit. And I've tried using this on a couple of these projects where I've had to turn the fabric right side out, and I love how that is rounded. That really helps. And on the other side, it's rounded too. So I really hope you like this project. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get a Facebook group going. I'll put a link in the comments or in the description. That's not going so well. I haven't posted as much as I should. Gonna start working on that now, trying to get things going. Life just gets in the way sometimes, but I hope you have a great day and enjoy your sweet tea, your mimosas, whatever, your Diet Pepsi in your mason jars. And check out the thrift stores. You never know what you might find. Have a great day. Bye now.